one of the things I think I start to think of is this idea back again of like partnership, right? Because I'm finding that we're talking about the juvenile justice system for the state of, Michigan right now, right? Or across the country. But I also think about the Department of Health and Human Services. And I also think about mental health, community mental health services. And I often ask myself, being a person that participated in all of these systems, this idea of like, how do we do a better job of working together, and I think we talk a great deal about it, but I don't necessarily think it trickles down to the experiences that families have. And so when we do our customer surveys, and we talk to families, I think it's really important that we start to recognize that families are really feeling just passed around from one system to the next. And I think that what would have been amazingly helpful for me is that instead of calling the police, I should have been able to call a crisis team that would help my son. Knowing that I have a son that's a first time offender, it would have been great if there was a diversion program available that I knew about, right? That I didn't have to go into court to have access to that. But I was struggling. So I think that recognizing that our resources have to be shareable, recognizing that they have to be shareable and deliverable services that culturally reflect the people that they serve. I think that we have to do an amazing job, or a better job, of course, of addressing biases and cultural competency when it comes to trainings with judges and lawyers and court staff and all of the folks that are in these spaces. And I think also we really have to really look at mediation and how to better solve family disputes, because I think part of this is really about all of that stuff. Had I had these tools or knew that these things were available in an array of services like 211 or something that I can call, and there's this service line that really outlines for me, okay, this is the need. I think it would make a complete difference. I think that all of our systems have to do a better job of really working together and partnering with each other so it can become a reflection that I can see mirrored from their work when it comes to my own family. But when there's such a divide with all these systems, who can I trust? And I think that's part of why a family support or family-centered approach is important, because families can tell you that. They'll tell you.
they'll tell you that and more. And I think that so go ahead.
Yeah, and they'll tell you in a way, and I think this is the other part, they'll tell you in a way that doesn't have a lot of acronyms to it. And they'll tell you in a way that doesn't maybe feel good. And they'll tell you in a way that doesn't have a professional zest to it, right? And I think that sometimes when families show up without that professional zest, they're not competent. But really they are. And so I think it really requires a shift in that. And then lastly, I think that we really have to talk about transparency and accountability that states and counties can do to increase how they support families and provide information about families' rights as well. So I could go on and on, so just stop me. But I think for me, that is what I'm hearing families say across the state of Michigan. And I'm going to be requiring family court. When I ask, is family court for families? I need to, at some point, someone say, yes, it is. And right now, I can't honestly say from the experiences from families that I serve that they believe that family court is for families.